And those rights payments are just a completely different type of income, which are not ordinary times earnings.
G'day, Paul from Small Crown Productions here, and welcome to the Business of Art. On this channel, I dig into all of the things that we need to help us build a business around our creative work. So tips, tools, strategies, interviews, mindset, whatever I can do to help share knowledge from people who know what they're talking about so that we can do business better and make money from our creative work. So if that is something you are interested in, please consider subscribing. This video is one in a series of over 15 videos relating to tax and finance for creative people in Australia. So this is specific to Australia. It is also general advice. Always, always, always seek specific advice about your situation in your region or country where you are. What I did was asked my creative network for a question that they would love to ask a tax and finance specialist, and then I bundled them all up and took them to Matt Tucker, the principal of Creative Crunches here in Brisbane. Creative Crunches is an arts-focused accountancy firm. They know what they're talking about when it comes to Australian tax law, tax and finance for creative people. Matt was super generous to donate his time. I cannot thank him enough for taking the time out of his day to actually sit and answer these questions for us all. So with that, let's dive in to today's question. What is the official ATO justification for actors not getting super on rollovers and royalties?
Superannuation is levied, I guess, on what they call ordinary times earnings. So I guess the right to superannuation comes from the superannuation legislation, while the ATO is one of the regulators in this space. It's not all about the ATO. It's actually about what the superannuation legislation has to say about who's entitled to superannuation and who is not. It is pretty broad, but there are exceptions. The thing with those two examples, the rollovers and the royalties, is that the nature of what they are as a payment is not ordinary times earnings. So the actor who has worked on, the feature or the ad or whatever it might be, when they're engaged to do that work, that's them working as an actor. That's superannuable. It's ordinary times earnings. The rollover is a payment that happens later if the advertisement or the film is doing well. There's money to play around with and dish out to all the people that were involved, and those extra payments start to flow through. Now, that extra payment is not fresh ordinary times earnings. It's not fresh personal services that they're done. It's a payment that is coming through because that business has paid more like a right. So it's a right that actor ostensibly has to be paid extra amounts in the future. And those rights payments are just a completely different type of income, which are not ordinary times earnings. Now, the other example, which was royalties, it's a very similar concept. Rollovers and royalties are both payments that are coming through because they're rights payments.
There we go. Thanks again to Matt Tucker from Creative Crunches for taking the time to answer these questions. If you have a tax and finance question of your own that you would like to ask, please pop it in the comments below and I will do everything I can to get that answered, or link you to one of the other videos where it may already have been asked and answered. Also in the description below is a link to the playlist that contains all of these tax and finance questions, so you can dig through there and see if your question has already been answered. And of course, it would be fantastic if you could like this video, subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, if you got something of value out of this, there is a good chance you will know somebody else who can as well. Please share it with them, tag them in the comments, whatever you've got to do, pay it forward so that we can keep helping each other out. Thanks very much. I'll see you on the next one.